Hello, everybody. As just announced, welcome back to the SpeedCon 2021. And yeah, I just said everything kind of in the intermission, but just quickly, coming up next, we got Shadowrun by Elastoid. So take it away. Good luck and have fun, friends.
You were counting down to start talking. I thought you were counting down to start the run. Okay, so this is Shadowrun. This is a game came out in 1993 for the Super Nintendo. It was well received by the people who bought it, but there weren't a whole lot of copies to go around. I'm joined by Edgeworth. He can be found at twitch.tv/edstream. If you want to count us down, we can get started.
All right, so let's get it in five, four, three, two, one, go.
Excellent. So I gotta ask you, Edge. Earlier, like some anonymous hero asked in the donations where they could see Edgeworth play more Final Fantasy Randomizer, and I gotta ask, is there a specific channel that they can see you play Final Fantasy Randomizer on?
Yeah, it's twitch.tv/edgestream.
That's good because I mean, I would never be into like shameless promotion, but I do know that for a fact that some anonymous viewer wanted to know.
Well, thank you very much, anonymous viewer. And so right now, this is the story of Jake Armitage, a data courier in the dystopian future, who was basically left for dead by a bunch of let's say inept hitmen. And the folks in the morgue think he's a zombie. So you have to assemble some sort of disguise before you can ever set foot in there.
Absolutely, it's but the hitman didn't account for magic, which doesn't seem like a huge error, but in this particular setting, it is because magic is fairly common. So they shot him dead, but didn't think to make sure that he wasn't magically revived somehow.
So right now, there are a lot of different things that you can do in the opening area, which is 10th Street. But the first thing Elastoid's going to do is run back to the apartment, pick up a pair of real cool sunglasses, and the number of Jake's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I mean she hasn't told us that she broke up with us yet. His body is literally not even cold because he's still alive, and she's already moved on, which seems a little cold in its own right.
So the reason why they send you, they have that gentleman just run up to you at the beginning of the game and yell like, "Hey, I thought you were dead," is to sort of guide you into this back alley where you can find your first weapon, because the streets are very, very dangerous, and if you can't shoot anything, you're not going to last very long.
I'm gonna go ahead and reset this area because I don't want, for marathon safety and all that, I don't want to get shot at by one of the hitmen in that window. So it's the first adaptation you're gonna see for marathon safety, because they can do 5 damage, and in a rare instance, they can just straight up kill you.
So you'll notice when you choose to talk to folks in the game, it pops up a menu with a few different options. And what's very important is to get plot keywords. So you're going to ask the bartender about Shadowrunners, and that's going to give you the data jack keyword. And then you're going to talk to this poor schlub who's down on his luck and give him, I don't know, is it Long Island iced tea maybe?
It's some kind of iced tea. It's not. They don't talk about alcohol in this game because this game has gone through a fair bit of washing before it made its way to American markets. But as far as we know, it's just a regular iced tea that makes him spill his guts.
I mean, I guess that's appropriate. This is set in Washington, right?
No, it's Seattle, but that's still good.
That's what I mean, the state.
Oh yeah, Seattle, Washington. Oh yeah. I don't own a globe.
All right, so right now, you can pick up a fake ID badge for the local Rent-A-Cops, and also get a number of grenades. You are required to get the badge to proceed in the game. You're also required to pick up this the cyber deck in Mr. Glutman's office. But the grenades are something special, because you can throw like 6 of them at once, nearly at once, if you play your cards right.
Absolutely. Just like you can in real life, you pull the pin on 6 grenades and throw them all instantaneously. It's a great way to ambush somebody by throwing 6 grenades at them.
Alright, so now that you have sunglasses on and you're wearing the exact same clothing, they don't think you're a zombie anymore, and they have no idea who you are. And so you're going to loot these filing cabinets for all they're worth. The cred stick is very important. It allows you to make phone calls. The tickets are a plot progression item.
Yeah, just like in real life, it can be difficult to purchase things, even if you have the money, if you don't have a credit card. And in this example, we've got a cred stick because you can't make phone calls without it, no matter how much cash you have on you. All the phones are pay phones, but they're not pay phones in that way.
Now, you may notice that Elastoid kind of takes some interesting routes through the street, and that's because the maps are linked up in a fairly interesting way.
You said that just as I screwed it up.
I thought you didn't screw it up, but I thought you were trying to dodge the hitman in the window.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was about to shoot you again.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
So normally this is something that you don't figure out until later in the game, but you need to heal the shaman that's in the crypt, and he gives you the magic fetish item. And that is something that you are going to need to progress later in the plot as well.
Yeah, early in the game, there's a whole lot of plot elements that we're sort of skipping over very quickly. But this is several hours of content, I promise. This game is essentially a mystery that you're trying to solve. It's a noir, and you get around by interrogating all the people and asking them about certain keywords, and sort of trying to piece together like how you got attacked and who it was who attacked you and how to strike back and all that. Unfortunately for the game, we already know the answers to all the mysteries, so we're gonna speed through it pretty quickly.
So right now, as far as plot goes, you have run into your old boss, Mr. Glutman, who hired you for a Shadowrun, and things didn't go so well, and he decides the safest place to hide you is in a closed-off car yard full of armed maniacs. So thanks for that, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is theoretically a nice place for you to, live out the rest of your days in peace and harmony and boredom. And we're not really interested in that. We're more interested in killing the people who have wronged us. So, wow, I can't hit this guy. I have to move.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. The accuracy of the Beretta pistol leaves a lot to be desired, especially when you are in just base stats. But that is what's required of you in the speedrun. So here's your first little bit of unfortunate RNG right at the start.
Yeah, that was fairly interesting. And now we just can't hit. I have a 1 in 4 chance of hitting any shot, and I only needed to hit one for him to move to that lower area. So that was fairly unlucky, which I'm sure is not a sign of the way things are going to continue to go.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah. It is.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. This guy is not playing nice, and neither is your Beretta pistol.
So this literally never happens. No, so this is so bad that we're actually not going to be able to take the king fight. We're going to have to go heal first, which I just don't do. But,
Yeah. Well, we'll just chalk it up to marathon safety, but yeah, sometimes the strategy for the speedrun is to get the your combatants in the arena to either get hung up on geometry or just slightly enough off the screen where they don't see you but you see them. It's hard to do in a lot of the later fights, and some of the early fights can be fairly fiddly about it as well. So you saw what happens when that could go wrong, but fortunately we are still alive to tell the tale.
Absolutely. One of the first things that I started doing when I was routing this game was to cut out a lot of the early safety because it's early, and I'm okay losing a run 10 minutes in. So RNG could go pretty poorly for me. However, when it comes to marathon safety, it involves trying to take the same approaches but doing it a little safer.
Yeah, so without these grenades, you would have no shot at fighting the king right now. You are basically using a pea shooter, but once you've done enough damage to him, he'll decide to get very scared, and that's when you can sort of manipulate him into running to the edge of the arena. And it's good that you beat the king because he was asking for $2,000 for you to get out, and we have a lot more important things to do with that money.
Did he
like
ask
buy?
You for $2,000? He asked me for $4.
It depends if you have the negotiation skill or not. So in the casual run, if you talk to the arena owner, he will teach you the negotiation skill. Because we are going to destroy the Shadowrun economy shortly, we don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, would you like to say anything about that particular exploit that we're going to do momentarily?
Yeah, so if you are able to pull off what I believe is a frame-perfect trick, you can sell an item and keep it in your inventory at the same time. It involves, it may be frame-perfect, but it is something that you can pick up sort of with muscle memory. So once you find the spot that feels comfortable to you, it's a lot easier to execute, but it's just a matter of like, oh, how am I gonna figure this out? So you have $5,000. You're gonna buy this mesh jacket, and then you are going to sell the mesh jacket back to this dwarf. And as you notice, it is still in your inventory.
Yeah, this glitch or this it actually is frame perfect. We found out from Fizztastic, who is the world record holder in another category of this game and also does a lot of task work for it. It is, in fact, a single frame, so what you're seeing is me landing a frame perfect trick over and over again. Hype. But what it does is doing this early, it will absolutely derail your runs because it can be frustrating when you're getting it like one in every two or three times. So getting past this split is when you know that you have a run.
Yeah, you do have to do this again later, but you can still put up pretty decent times in this run without getting this trick consistently. But it is certainly something that you need to get used to doing. And so now we have upgraded to this shotgun, and now we can sell back items for more money and keep them.
Yeah, I'm actually terrible at landing this trick typically when I'm practicing, but for some reason I'm on a roll right now. So
Yeah, it is definitely a feel sort of trick. Once you've landed it a few times, it certainly becomes easier. But just finding that first spot that feels good to you is always the hardest thing for new runners to this game.
yeah, so we got to do this one more time. This is the time when you have to do this the most. You have to land it one or two more times later, but this particular area requires doing it 12 times in a row. It's deliberate that we sort of front loaded the game with all these tricks because I'd much rather lose a run at 15 minutes than lose one at 45 minutes.
So there are a lot of nice things in this area to buy that would be required. These grenades are also going to be useful again later in the run. There is another area coming up soon where you just need to get damage done instantly. You're also going to need this set of potion bottles, I believe, and a sharp wooden stake as well. So we'll get around to what those are used for later.
They of course keep the sharp wooden stakes on the top shelf, so stakes are always high.
And now we're gonna go get checked out by Ed. We're having anytime we've tried to log into the computer matrix beforehand, we've been blocked by a data jack problem. And so this is Ed, and this is Ed's first day on the job. Oops.
Whenever someone's doing brain surgery, the first thing you want to hear them say is oops.
And if you talk to him, he feels real bad about what he did, and will offer you a refund. You can also take the refund by force as well. But we have an idea where there is a much better doctor, so we're going to go to the Daily Street station.
He will offer you a refund and then suggest that you put it towards your funeral, and that is a great doctor.
I mean, he went into the wrong business. Maybe he should have been a financial planner instead.
Yeah, or an undertaker.
It's maybe he gets kickbacks from the funeral home. You don't know.
Yeah, so just gonna remind everyone to donate. It's at speedcon.eu/donate. There are a number of incentives to name characters or file names coming up with the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide and Chronicles. As like just a couple examples. Where am I going? You have 6, sometimes as many as 10 characters that you can choose that'll be on screen repeatedly for hours. So that's a great way to propose to your girlfriend, or to advertise your catwalking business, or like your stream dedicated to reviewing all 14 Land Before Time movies. And in addition to that, of course, you'll be donating to a great cause in Save the Children, which fights for the rights of and health of children all over the world. So make sure if you guys have a chance, be sure to donate. There's a link below. You can type !donate, or just go to speedcon.eu/donate.
So I mentioned we're headed to the Daily Street station to get the Cortex bomb defused. What I didn't mention is the 10th Street station fountain actually holds an item, holds value that we need. Those bottles hold, one bottle holds pure water, the other bottle holds toxic water, and we need both of them in order to learn something very important later in the run.
Yes, there are many ways that this game can be broken, and one of them is the invisibility spell, which doesn't make you immune to damage, it just makes you immune to people shooting at you.
Yeah, if you can't be targeted, it goes a long way. And this is one of the reasons why Orifice is sort of nice to have in this area, is a damage sponge for this fight. You're going to get ambushed as soon as you set foot in the station.
Yeah, I mean, we have a more powerful weapon than Orifice does. We do more damage than him, but he does a fair amount of damage on his own, and definitely pays for himself in time when you bring him to some of these fights, because he's not only a damage sponge, he does enough damage to make himself worth it.
Yeah, there's also a ludicrous amount of hitmen that tend to show up in this outside the offices of the doctor as well. Like, I guess he really doesn't like new patients, but yeah, there's usually like 3 or 4 in the window. Only seeing 2 was kind of nice.
I've never blocked that door before.
That's one of the nice little details I love in this game, is the fact that you can smack yourself in the face with a door while trying to open it from the wrong side.
Yeah, I mean, this game, it's got the 3 things that you want to see in a game. All right, it's got magic and like orcs and fantasy creatures. It's got high tech gear and like downloading your brain into computers. It's got realism, and that's very important in a game.
We're also going to pick up the boosted reflexes upgrade, and that helps a lot as far as damage dealing goes. It is, I don't know, I would say by far the best upgrade that you can pick up in the doctor's office.
Absolutely. There's another cyberware bit later that we could get, which is dermal plating, which increases our armor, and that would be really nice to get, but it's not available until after the Jester Spirit has been defeated, and we just don't have like it's not so good that we're willing to waste the time going back. But in a casual playthrough, definitely after you've taken care of the Jester Spirit and you're looking at going to deal with Drake, definitely want to go into there, ask him about cyberware, and he'll hook you up with that dermal plate.
Alright, so you may wonder what that speck is on the road. That is a grenade with the pin pulled out. You want nothing to do with that. Walking into the Wasteland Club, you're immediately going to get into a fight with an orc, and you need to talk to the club manager to get the ice keyword, which is going to be very important later.
Yeah, it's not slang for anything. We actually are planning on buying ice. So you remember that the previous club that we went to, he gave us an iced tea, which he said was our favorite, you know. Apparently we're really, really into iced tea, because here the club manager is apologizing that their ice machine is on the fritz, so you can't get your patented iced tea.
So this is one of the areas that it's good to have Shadowrunners in. There are a lot of enemies in the Rust Stilettos hideout, and if they are all focus firing you, you are going to die very, very quickly. So instead, we're just gonna, let's use this iron key and kind of bust through the door as fast as we can.
Yeah, you can see in this room particularly, I could just run around and let my Shadowrunners do the damage mostly. Because Norbit specifically does just a hell of a amount of damage.
Yeah, your shotgun does a lot of work, Norbert does a lot of work, Orifice absorbs a lot of punishment. And we mentioned the grenades before, but this is another place where we're going to use grenades, and the last place we're going to use grenades, because we're going to do another trick here.
Yeah, so as you can see, we're going to walk in and throw 6 grenades immediately. Actually, we're going to throw 7 grenades because we're tricking it. But yeah, like you do, as one does, we're going to walk into a room full of gang members and immediately throw 7 grenades. There we go, 7 grenades.
Yeah, so we kind of do a little bit of deficit spending on the last one, very similar to the trick that you saw us do with selling the item but keeping it. So being able to throw 7 grenades makes this so much easier, but it also means no more grenades for the rest of the run.
Yeah, what we've done succeeded in underflowing our grenade count. So if I were to try to buy a grenade right now, even though I have 0 or really -1, it will tell me I can't carry anymore. So, physics is angry with us. And won't give us any more grenades because it knows that we won't use them for good purposes.
And that hitman got dumpstered, so that's actually a good place for him to be.
Absolutely, it's really helpful when a hitman shoots at you from the dumpster, because then when you kill them, they stay in the dumpster, and that's sort of like, it saves time.
It's like poetry.
So, Zoner, if you want to say anything about the charity that we're donating to?
I could. I was actually planning on maybe giving you guys a quick update on these incentives that you actually mentioned.
Excellent.
Yeah, so for the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide run, as you mentioned, there's incentive to naming them. Currently, the name with the highest amount is Apma, or Apma, or however you pronounce it.
Atma, absolutely.
Atma, alright.
He's the developer behind Worlds Collide Randomizer. Just generally a great person, and I think it's very fitting to name a character after him.
Pretty nifty. And second place, or the second name, we got Edge W.
Well,
I wonder to what that is referring. Thinking emoji.
I wonder.
But yeah, we got those two with a $13 and $10. So if anybody here in chat wants to not have one of these names, you can just donate your own name with a maximum of 6 characters, as in like the name maximum length of 6 characters.
Oh yes.
You can come up with your own name, as long as it is obviously not harmful or hateful in any way. We are going to accept it, and if you got more than 10 or 13 dollars for that, it's going to be displayed during the speedrun. So, or of course, you can just donate towards one of these already existing names and push them even further to make them, more unbeatable to so that they're staying on their name. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Absolutely. And,
so,
as like an added bonus, your donation will improve the lives of children around the world. Like, if you care about that.
Yeah, that as well. For example, by the way, just a single dollar, a single dollar can provide 4 children with treatment against pneumonia, which is a life-threatening illness for these children. So just think about that for a second. Just a single dollar can save the life of 4 children. And we got $13 and $10 for those incentives so far. So I don't want to do math, but that's already quite a lot of children saved.
Yeah, that is 92 children. Oh man, math on Twitch. It's 92 children. That is almost 50 children. So definitely good number of children to save, and hopefully we can do more.
Yep, every single dollar counts, my friends in chat. So if you have some spare dollars, please consider donating them here at SpeedCon towards Save the Children. Yeah, back to you guys.
Yeah, so we're currently running into the sewers. Our dog totem, the first thing he asks us to do is to kill a rat shaman because he's competitive. So once we've eliminated this probably evil rat shaman, then we'll be able to be in our in our totem's good graces, and he'll bless us with magic and information on where to go next. Theoretically, he doesn't actually tell us anything.
So Summon Spirit is an incredibly powerful magic spell that you get access to with Kitsune in your party, and it's very useful in the Rat Shaman dungeon because those rats tend to have attacks that have a high rate of stun locking you. And if you can just get through them as fast as possible, it makes your life so much easier.
Ah, I'm so bad. I just exit out of it twice. And am I about to watch Kitsune die?
I hope not.
Yeah, let's do something about that. So, funny story. If Kitsune dies, the run is... well, I mean, if she dies right now, I could theoretically make it work, but it would take a fair amount of time.
However, Norbert died instead, which is a very, very nice time save, because we need the slot for someone else.
Yeah, he didn't just die. He died at the, after the Rat Shaman died. He died at the perfect moment. So that was the chef's kiss death from Norbert. Thank you very much for your service.
A couple of other things that of note that were that happened during the break. The leather jacket that Jake was wearing was transferred to Kitsune. That leather jacket gives you 1 extra armor, and you might not think that makes a huge difference, but with the stat formulas of this game, it makes a huge difference. And without that, your life is just so much harder in keeping her alive.
I'm discovering that my splits actually helped me a little bit in terms of remembering where I was. I forgot for a second that I needed to come do this. We're going to need to increase our magic score to 8 if we can.
Yeah, so we spend what are known as karma points in order to level up stats in this game. And bosses generally give just an absolute heap of karma. So you generally get a ton of levels just from defeating them. But even in a casual playthrough, just taking out the hitmen in the window will get you some pretty good levels.
Yeah, you get karma for killing bad guys, and if that seems a little reductionist, oh well. There are a lot of really, really bad people in the Shadowrun universe, and people who kill for money, definitely high up there. The only acceptable reason to kill people in this game is for revenge.
So we're going to hire Steelflight. And Steelflight is not only an incredibly talented hacker, but is also built like a tank. And then we're going to call the Dark Blade Club and hang out with a bunch of vampires.
Yeah, the Dark Blade Club, incidentally, the way we get their phone number is by calling the little old lady who runs the talisman shop. She apparently is very in tune with the local gang scene, and if you ask her for the phone number of a local gang run by a vampire, she's like, oh yeah, well, here's their phone number. Which, not at all suspect or dubious. Incidentally, she also sells wooden stakes, so maybe it's a racket for her.
I mean, those are expensive wooden stakes. Like, the cost is high.
That is true. high stakes for sure. Now the stake cost 2,500, which is more than most most guns. So that does put it into perspective in terms of just how much this piece of wood is.
So normally, in this sequence, you're supposed to show the doorman the magic fetish, and you can have a nice, fun conversation with the vampire in another room who's interested in buying it. However, in this case, we're just gonna go get the key and go meet him in the basement, and just charge our way in.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to, like, the way the game's supposed to work is he's going to lie to us. We're here to find out about that jester spirit we saw briefly and figure out what his true name is. And this vampire is going to lie to us unless we use coercion. If we offer him the magic fetish, he'll give us the false name, and then we have to hack his computer to find out he was lying.
And so, of note, during the course of the game, one of the bartenders at the Jagged Nails will tell you, yeah, we had a vampire here at the club once, but it turned out flashing lights were very hazardous to them. So that's why we picked up the strobe, and we're just going to immobilize him.
Yeah.
And so in the course of the run, he's going to try to lie to you, and he will give you the wrong name for the Jester Spirit in the hopes that you just leave him alone. You need to use the stake on him twice. You can also use the stake on him a third time to kill him, which is exactly what we did in this run, because it gives you a lot of money and a lot of karma.
And also, it seems like the right thing to do. I mean, it's not just that he's a vampire. He's a duplicitous vampire. You know, if you're gonna kill anybody in a video game, let it be a duplicitous vampire.
Yeah, so it clearly was not a mistake. Now, this is a little area that is overlooked by some folks that run in here, and it is a high-end weapon shop, and you're gonna buy the best gear in the game here. So we're going to repeat the same trick we did before, and we're going to pick up this Uzi. And this Uzi has kind of a maligned reputation in the community. Some folks say it's not worth the money, but the ability to just hold the button down is so nice in the speedrun.
Yeah, when you even if you were able to press the A button and attack frame perfectly, there's always going to be lag in combat where there are a lot of enemies. So the frame that you have to press the A button on won't be the same every time. So the only way to deal damage, except for frame perfectly, is to have the Uzi, which, when you hold the A button down, it'll fire at the first available frame every time. And also, money is no object for us, so we'll buy it for that tiny upgrade.
So one of the reasons we took a slight diversion when we were at the docks previously is to pick up the docks keyword. And that's because we are going to buy a ton of ice. Now, I mean, like a literal ton of ice, and we're going to go dump it in the harbor. Because otherwise, we're going to get murdered by angry mermaids on the way to Bremerton. And we don't want that.
It's surprisingly cost efficient to buy a literal ton of ice. So, I mean, if you're ever looking for a great prank, apparently $100 will get you a literal ton of ice and delivery for it. If only people had known that yesterday.
So now we are headed to from Seattle to Bremerton. Bremerton, not quite the heyday town it was during the World War II period. It is certainly seen better days. and you can tell as soon as we get onto the rust bucket of the ship that we're invading.
Kitsune just took. I was like, Kitsune just took some damage. I wonder if she could use a heal. She was at 2 HP.
That's just how you draw it up. Also, that orc drops explosives, and that's important because when you don't have keys, explosives work pretty well.
Yeah, one of the largest diversions in this game. There's a slime that will just be in the way of a switch that you need to hit. And in order to hit that switch, you need to dissolve the slime with a green bottle full of what's called toxic dissolver. We're going to get that bottle here on the Bremerton, but in order to do so, we need to blow a safe. So we're going to go way out of our way to unlock another safe that has, as I heal here, another safe that has detonator, and these explosives that we're carrying around together are going to combine to make a time bomb, and we will use that time bomb to blow a safe to get this one bottle of toxic dissolver.
So you may wonder why Elastoid even bothered purchasing slap patches when you have the heal spell. And the answer for that is you need to do menuing during the course of a fight in order to do the heal spell. But if you go into your inventory, anything that you use is instantaneous. So the ability to instantaneously heal will save runs from dying. Guaranteed.
Absolutely. As long as you use it when you need to, you can save a run by. I'll show in just a second because we need to heal again. This is how long it takes to heal, and that doesn't seem like a lot of time until something's shooting at you. Whereas whenever you open your inventory, you pause the game. So healing with slap patches is just 100% safer. If you're at 1 HP, you can quickly pause the game and heal yourself 30 HP, like instantaneously. Sort of the way you throw grenades.
Yeah, and it may not seem like a big deal right now, but especially as you get later in the game, there are enemies that can just hit you for like 2/3 of your health very, very quickly. And sometimes you just need to you're going to take a third hit, and that's the only way you're going to survive.
So we got our detonator. Now we have to run all the way back up this catwalk. You can see this is quite the detour, and then there's going to be an even larger detour to get the get the green bottle. And this whole time, I'm really hoping if anybody is a glitch hunter out there and they're looking for ways to improve games, if you can find a way to get past this green slime without the green bottle, you'll save several minutes possibly on this game.
So normally when you go after this next item that Elastoid is going to try, well, first we're gonna grab this guy.
Have to have a fight with water.
So we talked about the clean water earlier. This is the toxic water that you need, and mix them up together, and somehow people can't see it. If you notice at the top of the flight of stairs, there is, it looks like a little light panel. That's actually a button. And the way to do this in vanilla is to hit both of those buttons to flood the bottom room. And flooding the bottom room is very necessary because the folks at the bottom are indestructible. But we're not going to even bother with that. We're just going to not get targeted.
I screwed that up slightly. That could have been bad. But we're fine. So there's our time bomb.
Yeah, this is why Steel Flight is so very important to have. Ooh, you got popped by it. That's no good.
Yeah, it can do a maximum of 38 or 30 damage, which is handy because that's our life is 30 HP. But we're wearing armor, so I always heal right before it goes off because theoretically it could do the maximum damage it can actually do is going to be after armor 28 damage. So unless I'm absolutely full HP before that thing goes off, it can miss me or it can do way too much damage. So it would be possible to move away from it and not take the damage, but it'd be slower. So gotta go fast.
And you do have the heal spells to spare as well, so should be all right. Yeah, we're getting very close to the pesky green slime room, but we need to take care of the gang members in here.
She had to stop moving. I was gonna heal her. Really? It that also never happens. It moved in front of the door to stop me. Typically, you don't have to kill the second one, but well, I'm marathon luck, right?
Yeah, so you may notice that the floor exploded. There's a bunch of landmines, and if you don't hit the switches, and if you don't hit the correct switches in that side hallway, they won't detonate, and you take a ton of damage from those. So it just makes going through that room a lot faster.
Absolutely. That was the previous world record before I took this game up. Didn't detonate the landmines. It just went over them and then healed. And seeing him take some time off that was when I decided that I was going to run this game. Because I was like, I know there's at least one time save.
So you may be wondering why we're just kind of sitting back and throwing summon spirits into the ether. The Jester Spirit is at the end of the hallway, and the Jester Spirit does an ungodly amount of damage. But once you've done enough damage, you can actually talk to the Jester Spirit mask, and that's how you end this fight.
I was taking no chances.
Yeah, it's like we had kind of a close call before or something, right?
Yeah, in fact, I didn't. I saved some spell points on Kitsune so I could cast Summon Spirit one extra time just in case the RNG was particularly cruel again. Because you only have to do 40 damage to him, and it can do almost 30, like from one cast. So theoretically, casting it 4 or 5 times should be enough, but sometimes it's not.
Yeah, and when you hit that, sometimes it is really the most frightening thing you can get into in this run. So if you just have a 5th cast, you're pretty much set.
I'm always willing to lose a run so long as it's not a marathon run, and that's when RNG decided to hit me there. So never again. So we just handled the Jester Spirit, and he said, so you can summon my power, when do you want to? And we said, Drake, because we were attacked and, to start this game off, and we found out that the person who hired the hitman was somebody called Drake. And it seems to be some sort of corporate, like head of a corporation or what have you, and some sort of bigwig. So it's our intention to go take him out.
So yeah, the first stop on our glorious revenge tour is going to be the Drake Towers. But in order to do that, we need to get some points in invisibility. And we definitely need to get some extra points in computer as well. Actually maxing that out is ideal. Because we're going to be fighting computer defenses fairly soon. And those guys can do just as much damage as getting shot.
So for the entirety of this game up to this point, since we handled that Cortex bomb that was chilling in our head, we've been able to hack computers, and casually that's something that you want to do because it gives you clues and information and also money. But in the speed run, we have all the money that we need, and we also know everything that we need to know. So up until this point, there's not any need to hack, but at this point, now we have to get into the elevator. So this is our first look at the Matrix. Ed, you want to explain that real quick?
Yeah, so we are basically playing like purple and blue shaded Minesweeper. There are what's basically ice network defenses peppered around those grids. If you walk into one, it deals a fair amount of damage to you. However, the grids are fixed in this game, so knowing exactly where they are before you get into the Matrix is very, very useful for speed and survival.
They usually do a fair amount of damage to you. Sometimes, though, they do an unfair amount of damage to you.
And speaking about an unfair amount of damage, trying to get off of this floor, that's why the invisibility spell is so important. Because Jake just took a ton of damage, and extra HP is certainly going to help.
Yeah, sort of unexpectedly taking that damage, but we did buy extra slap patches for safety because I no longer trust Marathon setting.
Yeah, so the damage ranges can be very dynamic. The enemies that are shooting you could miss you, could deal 1 damage, could hit you for 15. Like, you don't know until it actually happens. So there are some HP totals that do not feel comfortable at all to be at. So that's why we bring Steel Flight to absorb damage. That's why we have the invisibility spell. That's why we have slap patches. Nobody said this was an easy job.
Do all the damage you want to Steel Flight. See,
but you just got hit for like 6, 7. Yeah, it's nuts. And he's gonna, even though the invisibility is cast, he's going to slap patch here. Because if he gets hit with a Powerball spell by the mage, he could have died there even with invisibility up.
Also because Kitsune's invisibility spell is only at level 2, so it does not last as long as Jake's. You can see it's already off. So, it's possible. I'm trying to be careful not to shoot Kitsune there. It's possible that you can take enough damage in those moments where your invisibility spell is down. You can lose a lot of runs here in Drake Tower if you're not playing safe. But, safety isn't fast.
Yeah, and it's especially not fast when you have to double dip this tower, and that's what the original speedrun did.
Absolutely. Shout outs, by the way, to Jaiseed and Vidtendo, who did a lot of work on the route before I came to it. I've made some improvements, but most of the improvements that I made were essentially vulturing the work that they already did.
And I forget, while we're mentioning other runners of this game, who is the record holder for Matchbox %?
That would be Fizztastic. He's an excellent runner. He's he runs a few games, including an Animorphs game that I recommend everybody see once and only once.
Oh, it's not the Animorphs Game Boy game, is it?
Oh no, it's a platformer.
Oh, okay.
It's also terrible though. But yeah, Fizztastic, like I said, has also done some work with TAS investigations. So he's also done some work improving this route as well. So you may notice that in some of these floors I'm choosing to fight, and some of these floors I'm just using invisibility and ignoring these guys. That's because like the computer that you need to use. Hang on, I should not talk. And there we go. We're fine. The computer that you need to use to let the elevator go is like it depends on its position in the room. So the ones that are off to the side, I can easily just move to an area where there's no enemies on the screen. But for example, this computer is right in the heart of things, so I couldn't get away from the enemies without killing them. So I think it comes to the odd-numbered floors, we wind up having to take fights, because obviously you couldn't access this computer without the enemy seeing you.
Yeah, it's very unpleasant coming out of your network login and then immediately getting shot. You just start on the back foot, and it's a really bad idea, even casually.
Although for the world record attempts, we do that once. Like there is an area where we will come out of the computer into a bunch of combat because it's faster than killing the guys. Steelflight's a tank, but he's finally reaching the point where he no longer has a whole bunch of HP. And we're even going to heal Jake, because I am not a trusting soul.
So yeah, one of the nice things about having Kitsune in the party is just the sheer amount of magic that she has available to her.
Yeah, she's a battery for several of the runs that we go on. She will, however, outlive her usefulness during this particular dive. Unfortunately, it's just too difficult. The troll deckers that are running around Drake Volcano have just massive Uzis and do so much damage that it's just way more trouble than it's worth trying to keep her alive. Although after she dies, she shows up back at the club, so I think she was prepared for the contingency. Is this door not gonna open? I'm going to the wrong door, that's why. Okay. Oh, let's go though anyway.
Yeah, Kitsune has taken a lot of damage, so yeah.
But I didn't know for sure. So we forgot which door it was for a second, and by we I mean me. It's fine. It's just a few seconds detour. Yeah, like her invisibility spell had worn off. What was not an option was using more spell points to try to make her invisible again. Because magic is sort of tight in the route this way. She should be fine. So here we are in Drake Volcano. We sort of skipped an amazing reveal about the identity of Drake. Turns out he's a dragon, and he resides here in a volcano. So that's not going to stop us from wanting to get our revenge, but it does make it a little bit harder to pull off.
I guess that means he's hoarding lava?
Yeah. That doesn't really make any... I mean, I guess he's hoarding computers or something. I don't know. He's not the most dragony of dragons. Oh, he does breathe fire. Credit where it's due.
Also barfs out a lot of ice too.
Yeah. It's real annoying. If this if the Drake fight goes well, nobody will see any of his fire. If it goes poorly, we may go arrest him.
Yeah. The fire is kind of like a well-known joke to folks who have played it, because not only does it do a terrific amount of damage, but it also chain stuns you. So like if you get hit by it once, it is very likely to kill you, unless you've invested a tremendous amount of karma in your body stat.
You can have the max amount of HP, and if you take fire breath to the face, it's still possible to die if it high rolls. You know, it does just a stupid amount of damage. But Kitsune still has enough spell points left to heal me, or heal Jake rather, to heal Steelflight, and then if she survives this room, to cast invisibility one more time.
Oh wow, that the Uzi low roll. So there we go.
It's not super important. If we have her last this long, it just makes us a little safer. She actually has enough to cast invisibility one more time, but she's not likely to. Just as I say that, she's not likely to make it.
Yeah, the sentry guns that the scientists are using are pretty brutal. And you can pick up some nice things by hacking other computers in the game. We're kind of just going after objectives, but this is clearly the intended way to make the bulk of your money in this game.
Absolutely. There's several thousands of Nuyen in a lot of these computers that you can just take. Unfortunately, well, I mean, this isn't a glitchless category. A glitchless category, we'd absolutely need to be grabbing a lot of that. But for this one, it's just much faster to cheat and to dupe the weapons that you have and sell them back.
And so right now, this would be kind of like the last room where it would be nice to cast invisibility, but Jake knows it himself, so we're fine.
Yeah, Jake actually casts it better than Kitsune does, but we sort of try to use as many of her spell points as we can, because we're not going to have access to them after she dies. So, routing this to be done in one go was actually probably the most work when it came to routing this game, because we went from a spot where we had plenty of spell points to having everything be pretty tight. I'm just going to use a slap patch here, just a prophylactic here.
It's even in a casual run, it is very difficult to get through Drake Tower on just one shot, even if you do have the sort of the best Shadowrunners with you as well. We're also going to use the Jester Spirit item here, because that deals an absolute ton of damage, and without it, I don't know, this Drake fight takes probably like 10-15 minutes or something. It's just real slow.
So we're trying to get...
Guys, let me know when you got a moment.
Absolutely. After this fight, we'll have a moment. I am actually not like this is not the safe strat, but it managed to work. There's one like it's not pixel perfect, but it's pretty close spot that you can stand in where Drake is not using his fire attack, but he's still enough on screen to hit. And if I hadn't found this spot, then I would have to go to a backup strat that used a lot of time. But fortunately, we managed it. So that's Drake. And now, please, Zoners, read if you've got something to announce.
Yeah, it has been a couple of minutes since I spoke last, so just wanted to repeat a little bit for some folks who might have joined the stream a few minutes ago or some more minutes ago. Just a quick reminder that, hey, what's up, guys? We're SpeedCon. We are a speedrun marathon that is normally held in Germany, but because of the the current situation with the virus and stuff, we doing our things online. Throughout the weekend here, we're raising money for Save the Children, which is an absolutely amazing charity event so far. We raised $142, which is already pretty great. It doesn't sound like a lot, but you wouldn't know how much this actually helps children all around the world. As we discussed earlier, just a single dollar can already save the lives of 4 children. And we got a lot of cool donation incentives and bid wars as well that you might be able to contribute if you so want to. So if you head over to what's the link again?
It's
you could also just
sorry.
I think you know, right? Remember?
Yeah, speedcon.eu/donate. You can donate.
Right, exactly.
Directly.
Yeah, or you could just press the huge donate button below the stream, or you can type !donate in chat, and all of these will bring you to the same thing. And there you got a nice overview about all of our cool incentives and bid wars. And the next one, the next bid war coming up here, by the way, would be the one for Final Fantasy VII Worlds Collide, where we have a bid war for the naming the naming bid war. There we go. And the 2 starting characters can be named by folks of you in chat. So far, it's still the same. The $13 for Atma and $10 for Edge W. So that's pretty cool. If you want to change that, you know what to do, friendos. And yeah,
And
please enjoy.
Sorry, go ahead.
Also, yeah, please keep enjoying the SpeedCon. We still got some very awesome runs ahead of us. And yeah. Donate if you can, and if you can't, just enjoy the show and,
Yeah.
I don't have a fancy way to end this, but
No worries.
back to you guys.
I happen to know for a fact that whoever this mysterious Edge W person is, he's very shy and would prefer that his name not be broadcast there. So if someone you could donate to change his name from Edge W to something else, someone who's more loving of the spotlight, like an Elastoid or something, then I'm sure that everybody would be more happy.
Yep, there would be a minimum donation of $10.01 to overthrow the Edge W name.
A worthy cause, for sure.
Indeed, indeed.
So, we just went and purchased the best weapon in the game, the assault cannon, and now we're off to the last run of the game. We're going to go to the Ineki building, because it turns out, we killed Drake. He was the one who was trying to kill us, but it turns out that he was just a pawn. He was working for someone, and they're planning on overthrowing the entire world with the power of computers. And that's not an awesome thing to do. So it especially wouldn't work out for the children, and we want to save the children. So we're going to stop them. So we're coming in here to use a program that we have to destroy the evil AI computer.
So that's one of the reasons why you had that Cortex bomb in your head, is to sort of protect the data from falling into the wrong hands. And that data is another computer program that apparently is very, very toxic to AIs. So the Aneki building is pretty imposing. There's in each sequence there's sort of like a left hand and a right hand that you have to get through to open the elevators. And there's just a ton of enemies everywhere.
Yeah, usually we have a chance to sort of kill Steelflight off. He's really useful, but as you can see right here, when all the enemies are shooting, it generates a fair amount of lag. So I'm invisible, they wouldn't be shooting at me, and I'd be able to kill them at my leisure, but with Steelflight still around, they got plenty of time shooting him.
Yeah, the other thing as well is, I mean, Steelflight is contributing damage as well, but we've got a literal hand cannon right now, and we're doing so much damage, so much more than Steelflight, that the damage trade-off that we would lose by killing Steelflight versus the lag trade-off by not having him on the screen, it's no contest. We just want to have as few people on the screen as possible.
Yeah, if we can kill him waiting for the elevator, and that's ideal. But the elevator came way faster than it usually does, so we're not going to waste additional time killing him. The enemies will do that. I was thinking of having him hack this computer for me, but he's only got 15 HP left. So as tanky as he is, he's not long for this world, apparently.
Yeah, and if he were to die while doing this, you have to do the whole thing over. And that's, especially in the Aneki building, like, the size of these computer puzzles, like, basically doubles and triples. So that's a lot of time lost.
Yeah, so it's important to just go ahead and do that job ourselves. Incidentally, for context and how powerful this weapon is, our previous weapon, the Uzi, did 1 to 8 damage. There was an upgrade that we didn't bother to get to the rifle, which would do 1 to 10. The weapon that I'm using right now does 1 to 20. So it's like an order of magnitude better than the previous weapon. Oh hell, I forgot that. There we go. These computers are quite dangerous. If you fail combat with an IC in these computers, you can take anywhere from 1 to 48 damage. So, considering my max HP is 50, that is more damage than I'm prepared to take.
Yeah, also note, you don't want to spend too much time in the hallway, because there is a troll decker that will pop out the down elevator, and that's kind of a rude surprise.
Yeah, the elevators, if you stick around too long, they tend to troll you. I got you with one. Been sniping me all day. That is a low enough HP total that just for funsies we're going to heal. Just in case. 47 should be enough. I have a 1 in 7 chance of failing combat to an IC, and then I have a 1 in 24 chance of dying to it now. So, no math on Twitch, but I'm pretty sure we're okay. And there's no such thing as a jinx. It's important to say that before you jinx yourself. Okay, we're fine. Hope that wasn't tense for anybody.
No, we used up all the tents in the last round.
Got me back.
Yeah, so that down elevator popped open, which is it's just exactly what you don't want to see.
Yeah, astute observers might even have noted that the combat music started to play there as the Troll Decker came out, and he just does way too much damage. We have the second best armor in the game, but we would still just take a massive sort of drubbing before we got out of there.
Yeah, the full bodysuit is great armor, but also costs a ludicrous amount of money when, and it's not really justifiable when you're just going to cast invisibility on every floor.
Oh, we don't actually care about the money that it costs. The reason we don't buy it is because it requires... okay, so we're just going to leave and heal up real quick because we failed combat twice in a row. The reason that we don't grab it is because it requires strength of 6, and we're not willing to spend the extra 5 karma to bring strength up, because the armor doesn't help us in the computer. It's much better to just bring our life total up above the threshold of 48.
Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting that the hand cannon only requires 5.
Computers are playing dangerously today.
6/7.
Yep. That if I'm going to fail combat on a computer, let it be that one though. That one is actually a holdover from the earlier Drakes, so it does not do as much damage as other computers do.
Yeah, it looks like they just copied and pasted it, but didn't. That was a little dicey, so I got stunned there with the cast. Yeah, but they copied and pasted it without cranking the damage up.
Yeah, which is fortunate because all of the unique computers in the Ineki building, and there are a lot of them, do 1 to 48, and it's just not wholesome. Okay. So you can get ready on time. We are at the final computer here. If we succeed in hacking this computer, then we will have saved the world. So that's a positive.
Yeah, saving the world always a plus.
Yeah, although it's not clear who's going to pay us for it at this point.
I mean, you should have paid yourself. There was all those computers to hack.
That is true. It was quite lucrative. Okay, and in just a moment, and time. How'd we do?
116.39.
Oh, hey, that's pretty good. That is, I think, good enough for either 3rd or 4th on the leaderboard. So yeah, that's
GG's.
That's Shadowrun, everybody. Definitely recommend taking up this game if you're interested in finding a nice, easy speedrun to run.
Yeah, there's definitely safeties that you can put in as well, so don't be afraid to just check out the world record run, but you can check out some of the older runs as well. Again, it was by Nintendo had the record previously. Did a lot of work in routing this originally, so shout outs to him as well.
Absolutely, and we have to take a moment to just shout out SpeedCon and the charity that they're representing here, or we're donating to. Save the Children is an amazing organization, and I'm so glad to have the opportunity to be a part of this event that's benefiting them.
Yep. Cool. Some more final shout outs you fine gentlemen would like to do?
I'm going to shamelessly plug, I do have one other run coming up tomorrow. It's a run Aiden Chronicles, which is one of 3 proper RPGs that were made for the N64, the other 2 being Quest 64 and Paper Mario. It's a game that was not really well known. I wouldn't call it a great game, but it's definitely interesting, and I think the speedrun's interesting. So if you enjoyed this run, and if you enjoyed hearing me and Edgeworth, We'll be joined by Darkwing Duck tomorrow to run that game for y'all, and make sure to donate to change the name of the character.
All right, great stuff. Thank you both very much for this amazing run, and for just in general having a good time and being entertaining. Yeah, hey, chat, guys, friends, listen, we're gonna head into a quick intermission, and we're gonna set up the next run, which of course I should know from the top of my head, but quickly need to look it up. Oh yeah, Destiny of an Emperor, right?
Oh,
by the Hangry Canuck.
I actually feel terrible because I forgot to say, you know, Hangry Canuck is a great guy. He's doing this Destiny of an Emperor run coming up. It is an absolutely fantastic run, and it's also very volatile, so it'll be exciting. There's a very good chance that everything will go well and he'll be fine, but there's also a really good chance that everything will go terrible, and you'll get to see him adapt in all of these marathon safe strats that he's been working on. So everybody, please stick around and watch Destiny of an Emperor.
Well, that sounds pretty amazing, guys. You heard it, so stay in chat. Like I said, we're gonna head into a quick intermission, grab some snack, grab some water. If you're out of water, you know, stay hydrated. And yeah, we will be back in a few minutes with the run we just teased. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.